So in terms of having more than one student, that's been something that we've managed across sites within Queensland Health. So often I've had the opportunity to share students with the child development program, and we've been able to have days where I'll have both the students, and then days when they'll have both the students, and then days when the students are separated. So I suppose that works really well in terms of for my student to have some experience in child development in its most traditional form, and then for the student at child development to know and understand working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children and families, and that those students can then work on different projects that can be beneficial for both places together. We have also managed, we've only ever sort of taken up to 2 students in that model because of there's only one of me here. And I also do a lot of outreach. So often when I'm on outreach, I'll make sure that my students spend a little bit more time over at the child development program. But I also have the support of colleagues here, so my team leader and the speech pathologist and anyone else around to ensure that the student feels safe and supported, that I'm always on the end of the phone and will do supervision over the phone whilst I'm away. Sure. So having 2 supervisors, I think it's really important that you know each other well beforehand, because if there's any differences in the way that you practice in your profession, you need to be able to discuss them really openly and honestly so that your student doesn't then have to pick a side, so to speak, so that the students feel that they can have a sort of a trusting and honest relationship with both supervisors. So that needs to be able to come from us as supervisors. What we do in planning for places, not only logistical planning, so which days will the students be in which places, but we also, so in occupational therapy we have the SPEF-R as our document for assessing students, so we will specify different aspects of that so that the students will know that different aspects will probably be addressed more in one site or the other site, but there'll also be specific things that we want them to be doing across both sites. So we do that in the lead up so that when the student starts the placement, they have that document ready for them to know and understand what their actual, what they'll be assessed upon, both from the project placement perspective and the more clinical placement perspective. Yeah, and that doesn't happen for all assessment items, but for the ones that we know that they'll probably not get here and they will definitely get there, and vice versa, we make that quite clear. And then at halfway, if there's anything that we as supervisors go, we haven't had that opportunity, we can make sure that we develop those opportunities for them in the second half of their placement.